Okay, we got 8 responses now. All right, I think with this, I think the audience, they know this is a data platform, but they don't know specifics of how Dalgo actually works. So I'll give a brief on what Dalgo is before starting on the new features, and then we can dive into each individual feature that we have launched. What is Dalgo? Before getting into what is Dalgo, what are the challenges that it solves in the social impact sector? So each of you works in the social impact sector, and you know that you have collected various amounts of data from various sources like Google Sheets, Kobo Toolbox, any other forms that you're using, Google Forms. But we're struggling to make an effective use of it. So these are the challenges that social impact organizations usually face. One is each program within the organization use different tools to capture data. Some use Google Forms, some use specific websites, some use Google Sheets to capture data, and then there's a manual and repeat effort for data cleansing, consolidation, and then analysis of that data. Finally, they struggle to analyze and communicate the impact of that data. Once you collect that data, there's a repeated effort of cleansing, consolidation, and there's no holistic view that you get of the program performances across the organization. You think you can build a commercial solution, you can build a custom solution, but that eventually takes more time and the effort is too much. The cost is really high. You think you can take a commercial solution, but it doesn't provide all the features that you want. Data engineering talent in social impact is really limited, and it's really expensive to hire data engineers. And finally, the high cost you need to provide access to that data to every level, from the bottom level to the top. So these are the challenges that social impact organizations have, and Dalgo is here to help in that case. So what actually Dalgo provides as a solution is it automates the data processing with a low code, low cost open source SaaS platform. How it does that? It pulls all your data from different sources like Google Sheets, Google Analytics, and various forms that you have, even from websites. And it pulls that into a single data warehouse. Data warehouse is a place where you can store your data, and that is given to us by the nonprofit organization. When we are pulling that data, we can run some pre-computations on that. That is, you can clean that data, remove nulls, you can consolidate, make aggregation, and finally use that for analysis. Within this platform, you can ensure the data is of highest quality. How we do that? We do that by writing some test cases where we say like this data should not be null, this column should have these specific values. This ensures that the data you get from various sources is of the highest quality that you can acquire. On data privacy and security, since you are dealing with sensitive data, there's a lot that you have to think about in terms of data privacy and security. In that aspect, all the data that is stored in the organization's warehouse. We don't store any data. Only the data is passed through our platform, that is Dalgo, but that also is in an encrypted state. And if you create a pipeline, there's an effort that is needed by a data engineer. You have to think about how to go with that pipeline. With that, our USP, Tech for Dev USPs are good support. So with our help, you can like create those pipelines on consultation, or you can even go to our Discord channel and say like, this is how I'm trying, and can you tell me a better way, or this is the way that can be done. And finally, once you get the data in the warehouse, we also provide a visualization through Superset. That is optional. You can take, or you can use your own visualization tool once you get that data. And finally, we are using open source packages to as a whole in Dalgo. These are well maintained, and every quarter or every month we run updates on them. So you don't have to think about like if the product is of not good quality, so using less quality open source product. Finally, how Dalgo is working, just giving the overall insights. So you have these data sources, different data sources. These are the prominent that are used in our NGO partners, Avni, Comcare, and 300 other data sources that you can get data from. Once you get that data, so this is where Dalgo comes in. So Dalgo runs on these 4 steps. The first step would be the ingestion part, where it takes the data from the source tables, from the source that could be Comcare, Google Sheets, and then it stores that data into your storage warehouse. Once that is done, the second step would come to transformation. You can apply transformations on that, like you can remove nulls, you can clean that data, you can make aggregations on that data. Like you want to go by specific dates, so that you can do in the transformation steps. And that data again gets stored to your warehouse. And finally is the orchestration step. Orchestration is the step where you can say like I want to run this pipeline at this particular date. So I want to say I don't want to do it manually. I want to say this pipeline or this transformation should run every day at 9 p.m. So you just automate that whole process. You don't have to think about it now. I have to do again and again. You can with orchestration, you can do the ingestion orchestration and versus the transformation orchestration. And final step is the visualization. That is optional. We come along with the superset. You can use the warehouse data to create visualizations, and we can help you with that. But other than that, what you can also do is use that data to for machine learning, for analytics. For you can also use other visualization tools like Looker Studio and Power BI. You have that data in your warehouse, and you can use it for any other purpose. And you can even get that data to your applications that you have. So, okay. So this is what Dalgo is in a brief. If you have any questions, I can take them up now related to Dalgo.
Yeah, right now we don't have any question.
All right, then I can move to the features that we have launched in this quarter. So first feature that we have launched is called Data Insights. Before getting into this feature, how many of you have built a data pipeline before? Abhishek, if you can put in the poll.
No.
Inayat? Yeah, sure. If you can check the poll. All right, I think most of us know what it is, but they haven't built one. And one person is there who don't know what a data pipeline is. And three have built a data pipeline. So yeah, I think that sums it up. All right. So if you haven't built a data pipeline, don't know what a data pipeline is, it's the process where you take the data from your source tables, do some transformations on that, and then eventually load that data into your warehouse. So a usual pipeline takes a process in the form of ingestion, transformation, and then finally the loading part. Now I'm specifically talking about the transformation pipeline, where you take multiple tables and perform various operations on them. So this is an example of a simplest pipeline that you can, transformation pipeline that you can think of. You take two tables and do a join on them. And on that, you can perform more operations on the join table, like you can filter out from with date. And finally, you will get a final table that you can use for visualization. This is the simplest workflow. And now I'll go to the demo of data insights. So what we are planning in data insights, what we've done in data insights is I can see and click on a table in the visual UI workflow and see the insights of each column, how much data is there, what are the statistics of that data. So I'll quickly go into the demo and then you can see it for yourself. So before performing this, this is the Google Sheet as a source table that I've taken. This Google Sheet represents the effort tracking sheet that we follow in Dalgo. So as you can see, this is by week we have shared across projects, across areas. There's a task that we have, and this is assigned to certain people. And we have done estimated hours and the actual hours. So now I've loaded this in Dalgo, this source, and now I'm going to perform a transformation step. This is the visual pipeline that you can see. Usually a pipeline visually looks like this, where we have multiple source tables and I can perform some operations like cast, I can drop some tables. So now I take the example of the Google Sheet that I just loaded. I clicked on the table in the UI and then I saw the same preview, like the data that I got from the Google Sheet. This is the area, the task and the actual hours. Now this data is in the warehouse. And this is the data statistic part that I was talking about. Now you can see across each column, I can see some statistics that is based on the column type. I can see dev is the most that is in the sheet. The task that is most performed is like it's not in the others. Most of the status of the task is completed. Some are in progress. Within the project, I can see most is UI 40. And if you can see assigned to, I can just say like Ishan has done like assigned the most tasks. So across each column, you can see there are certain insights, and you can also see there are how many distinct rows are there and how many nulls are there. So you can say like these many nulls I want to remove from that data. And with this insight, you can probably build a better pipeline. You can say within this insight, I got something and I can think about how to go better with this pipeline. You can perform better steps. And finally, I want to show you like this is earlier, it was all for the string column types. And for integer column types, we show stats for the minimum and the maximum and mean, median, mode. So we can say in the numeric, the minimum was 0 and the maximum actual hours were 18. And this other type sheet. So this is the data insights filter that we've launched under the UI pipeline that you create. You can see insights for each table, and then you can go on building your pipelines. Do you have any questions here before moving on to the next feature?
Yes, there was like I wanted to ask for ingestion.
Yeah.
There are different connectors like Google and this Kobo toolbox was mentioned there.
Yes.
So like there is ODK and other similar tools. So is that OData feed supported for ingestion?
Oh, sorry. Oh, which data? Or data fields?
Yes.
I have to check and get back to you, but I think it is. So
Okay.
internally we use Airbyte. So if Airbyte does support that, then I think it is. But yeah, I need to check and get back to you on this.
Okay. Thanks.
If nothing else, we can move to the next feature that we have launched. That is, it is role-based access control. So until this, in our platform, we didn't have any role-based access. The platform was open for all, like each user can see everything, and they can invite users, they can create pipelines, they can do various things on the platform. But now we have we have created certain roles for each of the users. These are pretty standard roles in the industry. So this first is the account manager, that would be an admin of the NGO and is responsible for the user management. Second would be the pipeline manager. It can do everything other than creating pipelines, and it can do anything apart from like inviting new users and editing the destination or the warehouse. As an analyst, what you can do is you can do transformations, but you can't edit a source, edit, delete, or remove sources or destinations or warehouses. And finally, as a guest, you will be just able to view the platform and you can't do any like creation or editing steps. You can't delete anything. This is next. I'll share a quick demo of how the platform looks like and how the various roles are assigned and what the roles characteristics are. So if you go to the user management screen, you will be able to see the roles, various roles that are assigned to the users. And now you can invite a new user from the screen. I'm inviting myself, and I can give that a user role. Next, since I got a pipeline manager role, you'll be able to see what restrictions that the pipeline manager have. So on the screen, this is the screen for the pipeline manager. If you go, you are able to see everything. even connections and source. You can create a new source, you can add a connection. But what you won't be able to do is you won't be able to edit or delete a warehouse in this case. And in the user management, you won't be able to invite a new user. This is the role of a pipeline manager, and you can't even change the rules. Apart from that, you are able to do anything else on the platform. You can do transformations, you can do orchestrations. Yes, yeah. Now I'll change the role to analyst, and for an analyst, we'll see like we won't be able to change any edit or create sources. You won't be able to create a new connection. You will be able to edit or change any sources or a warehouse, but you will be able to access. You will be able to transform the data. If you go to transformations, you will be able to perform many actions here. You will be able to go to the workflow, and you can even create new pipeline data. You can do various functions like aggregation and everything. You can't run the pipeline in this case. And finally, I think you can't do anything in the manage users as well. And finally, we'll go to the guest user. Guest user has all the permissions. Sorry, it doesn't have any permission except from the read only. So it can see everything, but can't make any changes or edit on any of them. It can go to the overview. It can see all the connections, all the sources, but it can't make any edits on them. It can't even sync that. So just a view only role. So you can't see any sources. You can go to the transformation workflow, but you can't edit any of them. You can just see and preview them. So I think that is it for the role-based access control that we have launched this quarter. If you have any questions regarding this, we can take this up now. If not, I think we can move forward with the next feature. That is custom DBT tasks. How many of you know what DBT is? Just quick raise of hands. If you don't know, you can just do thumbs down as well as an emoji. Partners, no idea. All right, we can start with what DBT is. So DBT or data build tool is a command line tool that helps data analysts or engineers to transform data in their warehouse. We use DBT internally for transformations. So as you've seen in the UI step or get the GitHub method, we use internally DBT to make transformations. Like you can remove nulls, you can clean the data. Everything that is done through a library or a tool called DBT. What DBT does is it creates models for each of the data. You can create custom SQL models. So that helps in modularity part. It helps you to write test cases for each model. Like you can say for each table, don't allow nulls or the value or range should be between 2 and 5. And finally, it has version control. So you can upload it to, you can make it via Git and upload it to GitHub. So you have the previous data where I made some changes or where you can just go back if your pipeline doesn't turn, where was the fault in the previous transformation. So with DBT, when you run DBT or transformations, there are certain steps that needs to be taken by that tool. Those steps are, as mentioned here, If you go to the transform page, you will see the steps are dbt clean, dbt deps, run, and test. With clean, you clean the you just pull the data, and then you like install some dependencies. Finally, you do the dbt run, where you do the transformations, like removing a column, adding a column, do some aggregation, and finally you do some test cases. Like finally, if all the nulls have been removed, if all my data is good, if the aggregate is what I want it to be. So these are the normal tasks that you can run. Apart from that, you can add certain other tasks manually. Like you want to do certain tasks that you want to do on a specific model. So you can add a new task from the Dalgo UI. So I say just run this, run dbt run with the specific model. I want to just select this model or this table. Now, once I create this new command, what I can do in the orchestration page, I can just run this particular dbt task and not others. Otherwise, if I create orchestration, I have an option, as you can see in the transform task, I can do a simple, I can run all tasks that are given. Like I can do deps, run and test sequentially, or in the advanced, as you will see now. Yeah, I can do simple, I can select when to run. And then the advanced, I can specifically mention, like I want to run only these tasks. So I can select the new dbt run that I've created. I'll say I don't want to run dbt run. I don't want to run dbt clean. No, I don't want dbt deps. I just want this to run and then some test cases to run. And I'll save this pipeline. So I can say at 10 p.m. just run this model at any particular time with this pipeline. So this is the feature that we've launched. It's called custom dbt tasks. Yeah, that is the feature. Do you have any questions or any thoughts here? I'll wait for some time. Yeah.
So, where did you insert the timing for running this?
In the orchestration step, if you'll see, this schedule is daily, weekly. For this, what I did was I just put it in manual. If you see this option for daily, weekly. So I can specify daily at this time. But in this case, I didn't want it to run it every time or daily on a weekly basis. I can say manual, and then I go on this page and run this by a sync button. Does that answer your question?
So, I need to run it manually, right?
Yeah. So for someone who just wants to create a pipeline and just say, whenever I want, I'll see the screen, I'll run it. In that case, you can run it manually. Otherwise, you can specify a different time according to
So,
your
if I
needs.
select Delhi, then it will select any time. It will allow me to select any time. Or,
Yeah. After that, once you go to daily, it will give a pop-up for the time that you
or
want to specify.
yeah, thanks.
Well, if nothing else, we can move to the next exciting feature. That is, sorry. That is data quality. Now, this is quite interesting since most of you wants to have data transformed, but you want to also ensure that the data is of highest quality. That what I am getting from the sources is eventually translated in the dashboard. That doesn't like corrupt it in between. Like if I'm doing a survey of 10 people, I'm just getting data of 5 people. That doesn't look too good. Or of some cases, I'm getting nulls. So to ensure data quality, what we do is through dbt, we write some test cases. And this is usually how we write test cases in dbt. This is a dbt GitHub repo for one of our organizations. And you'll say like for this table and for this column, this should be not null. These should be not null. These are the states, and these are the separate values for this column. So in this way, you can specify and write test cases. So you don't have to think about it writing every time, or you don't have to think about like if my data getting is of the correct value. So once you write these test cases in Dalgo, we have something called as a report that you get. once all the test cases have been run. And this is the data quality report that you will be able to see here. So in the report, as you can see, these are the number of tables that have been monitored. 54 tables are monitored. Like we have specified some test cases, like these are not nulls, these are some separate values. And these are test cases that have been run. 526 out of those, 3 fail. So we'll go to the failed test cases as well. But yeah, these are the test cases that have run, passed over these states. So for every day, you can ensure my data is of the highest quality that I want. Next, I'll go to the failed test cases. So we'll see in these models, if you go deep, so the expected value of the rows should be between these two values, but it failed that test cases. Suppose I wanted my value to be between 1 and 10 and somebody inputted 11. At this case, I validated the data and it's in front of you, like these are the test cases failing. And finally, for each test case, you will see the duration of how much time it's taking. So you want to ensure that like not much load is taken on the warehouse. So you can get various metrics on each test cases, and yeah, you can go beyond that. This is the data quality feature where you can maximize and ensure that your data is of the best quality. So with that, you write some test cases and finally you get a report. Yeah, I'll wait for some time on questions here. All right. If not, we can move to the final feature that we have for today. Yeah, final feature that we have for today is the schema change detection. So suppose take a scenario where your input source is the Google Sheet or a Kobo toolbox or any other data input sources that you have. And what you do is you add a new sheet there, or you update some sheet name or the column names. Or in Kobo toolbox, you can take an instance, you create a new form, or you add a remove a question. How does that translate into the ingestion step? So what we do is before when you do a new connection or you do an initial step, we check if there are some changes that have been detected in the initial schema, and we make you aware like this is the changes that you have been made, and you want to either approve, or you can just say like this is fine, I don't want to approve that changes. So this is how the UI of looks like in Dalgo. So I'll take the example of a Google Sheet that we have taken as an input source. Now I'm adding a new column, comments. And I say like adding new comments here. Finally, I go back, I say refresh schema. This refresh schema runs every night. So you'll every day in the morning, you will see some changes have been made, but you can run it manually as well. So once you refresh the schema, you will get some pending actions over here. And inside connections, you will see like there have been a new column added. What do you want to do? Do you want to add this column as well? And then you can translate that into the transformation step. So this is the feature of schema change detection, where we detect all the schema changes and show you upfront and whatever you need to do. So if a schema changes, then that eventually leads to failures in transformation. So you have to take care of this, and it's quite important that you see what the changes were, and you can reflect back if my source, how has my source schema changed? What are the implications over there? Yeah, I think that is mainly, that is mainly it for schema change detection. Do you have any questions here? I will wait for pause for some time.
So you have changed that Google spreadsheet and it is won't reflect over here, right? So it may cause issue or
So like suppose in this case, it will not cause an issue in the transformation step, but suppose you
Mhm.
change the column name,
Mhm.
and in the transformation, you're saying like update this column to some like aggregate this column.
Okay.
So the transformation step at that would be fail if it would fail because the column name is different now.
So
So
say
after
suppose in future if any other field extended in my that Google Sheet, so I need to implement in my that pipeline also or what?
yes, you add it here, and then you need to implement that in the pipeline as well.
Okay.
First you will get a notification like something has changed. So that will say like check where the changes were made, because that can cause implications further in the transformation pipeline.
Okay.
All right, I think these were the main features that we wanted to talk about. Yeah, if you want to know more about what Dalgo does, join us on Discord. You can even take a scan of this, and you can go to our website to know more. And finally, do you have any questions? Yeah, if any, you can take it up now. It can be anything related to Dalgo, related to pipelines, apart from these features. You can, yeah.
Deepak has a question in the chat.
Data quality anomalies. In, in data quality, do you want to say a question out loud, Deepak? Like I didn't get the anomalies part.
No, you have
Does it?
mentioned there in the data quality part. So I just want to know how you can incorporate, or how you can, what is the process of this anomalies?
Got it. So just going over through process, like we use something called as DBT as a tool to run our transformations, right? In DBT, we create something called as models that helps us to create those finite tables that does the transformations. These are some SQL codes using those models. And on those models, you can specify, as I mentioned, like I'll just share here. Sorry. Yeah. In the testing part. So this is our DBT repo where you can say like these are all my tables. These are all the tables that I have, and you run some SQL code over these tables, and each table SQL is called a model. For each model, what you can say is I want to specify certain test cases on that. So I want to say in this table, in this column name, it should not be null. So tomorrow, if somebody inputs it as null, a test case will run like in the transformation step and say like this was not supposed to be null, but it is null now. And it will show me a failure. It's an anomaly in that case. And similar case, you can say like these are all the accepted values of this category of farmer. So in the source table, if you get any other values, it will say it is an anomaly, like the quality has failed because some other value has come up. Yeah, Shuni, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, hi. I would just like to add here for data quality, what we have done is we have added a DBT elementary package to our product, that is Dalgo. And what elementary there are tests that can be configured in order to detect the anomalies um, using DBT elementary. So that is what is referred to as elementary. And there are ways in which you can define these anomalies, and there are like various freshness anomalies or that have been defined using elementary backend, and that is where we refer to as, so because we are integrating this package, we are supporting these tests, and there is a way in which these can be configured. We can share the link with you on that. So I'm just putting up a link in the chat also, just for you to take a look in case you're interested. Further details. But that's it from me, Shamoon.
Thank you. Hope that answers your question, Deepak.
Yeah. If there's anything more, we can have a discussion.
Yeah, Shani, you can keep your hand down.
Thanks.
My Siri just talked to me. Yes, we are still waiting. If you have any questions, you can take that out. It can be anything, like if you have any concerns regarding the platform that you're using right now, you have anything related to data quality, data ingestion, you can take that up right now. We still have time around 10, 20 minutes. All right. I don't take from here, like the feedback and everything after this.
Yeah, we'll just shoot out another poll.
Mhm.
In the meantime, if y'all have questions, you can keep them coming in. Yeah. We confirm that you can see the poll.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks. We'll have this poll up for another minute and then we'll move ahead. So if anyone's in the middle of filling it, just let us know. Or hit submit in the next minute.
Naya, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So, two more things to mention to everyone on the call. The first is that the Dalgo, so we host sprints every quarter where our teams come together and meet. And every alternate quarter, this is with NGOs, right? So that means one quarter it'll just be internal team, the following one it's NGOs plus our team. So the one in July is NGOs plus our team, and we're hosting this in Bangalore. And the way this is divided is that on the 18th of July, we'll have our current users coming in, sharing their use cases of how they use the platform, so that people who are interested can come and learn about the platform. And for folks who are interested in getting onboarded onto Dalgo, this is another great opportunity. What we're doing is post the first half on the 18th. So the second half of the 18th and the 19th of July, you can come in, work with the team, and in those 2 days, we would help you be onboarded onto the platform. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you all. I will share with you also a link to register for this event in the chat box. And the second thing, Shamoon, you can move ahead, is if you're not in Bangalore, you can't meet us in Bangalore during these 2 days, then we are also running an initiative whereby if you'd like to quickly see what it looks like to be onboarded onto Dalgo, what the value add of the platform is, then you could share your use case with us, and within 10 hours we would set you up to ingest all of your data, run some basic transformations, and create a little dashboard for you to see the entire pipeline as Shamoon was describing. Following which you could then go on to kind of make the decision of, whether or not you'd like to move ahead with Dalgo. So these are two initiatives from us. I am actually throwing up a poll. If you're interested in either of them, you just need to hit yes, so that we know to reach out to you. And I'll also put the links for this so that you all can register if you're interested. So just give me a second. Let me throw this up. Here it is. Yeah, you should see it on your screen now. Also, I see Ashwini's put in, and I would completely agree. We're very curious to know what your data challenges and use cases are. So if you're on the call and you'd like to share that with us, we're happy to listen in and learn about that from you. It'll also be good for everyone to kind of learn from each other. Yeah. And the poll should be up. Shamoon, Diksha, can you confirm that you can see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything from us. Please do respond to the survey, and if you don't have anything else to share, or if you, then feel free to drop off. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.